Hello everybody, it's Brian from The Hive again here. A few years ago I read a really good book called Going Deep in Life and Leadership by an author called Ian Percy. And one of the things I took out of that was something called the PIES model. And I've used this as a way of communicating with people to go to greater depth with my clients, greater depths with my friends when required, and also to have some conversations with my family members that actually are not just trivial, but they can get to the heart of things. Really useful model for you to work with your patients and also with your team members. So typically, when a patient walks into your clinic, one of the things that you do first of all is that you engage them on what we would call a political level. And a political level is there to build some sense of rapport. And rapport is the lessening of difference between two humans. It doesn't necessarily build trust, but it does break the ice a little bit. The typical things we talk about when we have a political conversation are things like, oh, isn't it hot today? Or how did your footy team go on the weekend? Those sorts of things that are surface level, but they are useful in terms of breaking the ice. The second level of depth is to go into the intellectual level. And for people in health, it is to pull out perhaps a spreadsheet or a treatment plan and go through that. And we engage the client on an intellectual, the patient as well, on an intellectual level. Now that's fine, but I would say that most health professionals do that to a reasonable standard. One of the things that defines genius from the rest is your ability to have the non-technical skills that make a difference to your patients. And we would say going what we call below the line into the world of, number one, emotional. Now we use this phrase often in the Hive, logic makes me think, but emotions make me act. Wouldn't it be great if I knew how my patients would act when they walked out? Wouldn't it be great if I knew what was driving them to come to me in the first place? And it's in here where we explore the world of the sad, mad, glad and scared, which is that individual or a combination of feeling will tell us a lot about what's going on for the patient. And then lastly, we can engage our clients on a spiritual level. Now that doesn't mean that we dive into the world of religion, but what it does do is we try to find out what tickles the clients and the patient, what tickles their spirit. So really importantly, if it was, why do you want to get this fixed up? Well, I want to have the energy to play with my grandchildren. I want to have the energy to be able to take my kids and go on a holiday overseas and backpack and camp. Well, wouldn't that be great if you could fix that for them so that they could go and live their life on purpose? Now, when we do it, a lot of professionals don't go below the line, and the reason is that they're a little bit unaware or uncertain of what they might uncover here, or they think it's not their world to work in. But I do want you to understand this, that contextually, the economic context lives up in here, and that is how you get paid and how you do your service. But what happens down in here for the patient, the ecological context is, how does that make a better life for you? How can that help you in the things that you want to do? And lastly, we would say, when you start to put a plan together, it is really important that the plan, the treatment plan and the implementation of that, and that includes all the follow-up visits, they come to see you and so on, is an important part, and it is above the line behaviour. But the other part is that the motivation for your client to follow that, and then the transformation as well, you transform their lives, is an amazing thing. So don't just sit in your room and engage just on the level of political and intellectual. Dive down, find out how your patients are feeling, find out what the treatment will do for them in terms of making a great life. And I think if you can do that, you create an experience for your client that is different to other health professionals, and they will come back and they'll be curious to find out how you're going as well. Really importantly, don't be frightened to go below the line into the world of emotional and spiritual.